Hi Capricorn, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your March 2021 love reading. Thanks to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, just check out the description video for more details there. And for those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's what I call the bridge and the gap spread. And the way it works is the cards on the left side represent your energy toward the connection with your main love interest. Cards on the right side represent their energy toward the connection. And we'll look at the past energy, present energy, future energy. Once we get through all that, we actually pull some oracle cards for some additional insight. That's where the bridging the gap dynamic comes into play. And as far as the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot, on the right side we have the Tarot of Sexual Magic. And also keep in mind it's a general reading, so I'm going to be referring to the cards on the left as your energy and the cards on the right as the other person's. If you feel like your situation's the other way around, then definitely trust that. Alright, so with all that said, we'll get started. Past energy on your side, we have a few cards that came up. You got Oppression, which is the equivalent of the Tower in traditional tarot. Seven of Staves, which is the equivalent of the Seven of Wands, which is Leo energy. And Seven of Coins in reverse, which is Taurus energy. So what I'm seeing here is it could just be saying in the past you might have actually ended the connection with this person, because if that's the case, I feel like it's saying that you might have felt that they were coming on a bit too strong, and you might have felt like there was a lack of maturity and ability to actually build it into something more stable. So, as a super generic way of saying it, maybe what the issue was, you might have felt like they were only in it for sex, right? So maybe the way they came across, you might have felt like they were only in it for that, and that they didn't have an actual desire to build into anything more stable. Past position on their side, we have the Nine of Swords. So this is Gemini energy here. And really what I feel like, the Nine of Swords in traditional tarot represents that anxiety, losing sleep around the situation, being stuck in your head around the situation. And then with this deck as well, what stands out to me is the black cat. And if we think about that old superstition about black cats and bad luck, right? Could just be saying that that's how they feel. They might have felt like they just have bad luck when it comes to love in general. So, I feel like they might have approached you, for example, and obviously, like I said, the way they came across to you, you might have felt like they were, in it for something other than what you were looking for, and you might have rejected them. So that's what I'm seeing there. In the present position, we have Magic. So this is the equivalent of the Magician. And if nothing else, to me, this says that you're coming out of that energy of the Tower, saying that you're feeling more confident now, more able to, attract things and manifest things. And for some of you, it could just be saying that you might be looking at things from a different perspective now as well. In the present position on their side, we have the Hermit. So this is Virgo energy here, and more than that, I feel like this is saying that, they're still kind of going inward and reflecting on what exactly happened. So I do have to say, for a lot of you, I feel like it might have just been a misunderstanding. It could have been, for example, we just had the Mercury retrograde that ended recently, and it's still in its shadow. But it could have been as simple as that. They might have approached you, and they thought they were coming across one way. You might have taken it a totally different way, and that could have led to a split, right? So that's one generic way that this could be playing out. But yeah. And not only that, but I feel like this is saying that they might look at things like in a worst case scenario. So for example, if they did approach you and you rejected them, in their mind they might be picturing, oh well, they must be with someone else, right? If we look at those two people in the background. So I feel like they're just really kind of stuck in their heads around that. For some of you, this could represent that Virgo full moon as well, since that's about to happen and this is in the present position. So could be some significance around that timeline for you guys. And in the near future position, we have the Five of Cups, which is Scorpio energy, and the Prince of Arrows, which is Gemini energy. So, it looks like it's saying that whatever this was around, looks like you might actually, especially for those of you where maybe you're coming to a realization that you might have just misunderstood this person, like maybe you thought. So, like I was saying here, they might have a bit of a pessimistic outlook on the situation, and in the past, to be fair, but I could be saying that if that's how you were looking at things too, and assuming, oh, well, this person's a player or something like that, Could just be saying that now you're moving away from that and you're actually going to reopen communication with this person. That's one way I could see this playing out. Um, and the reason I say that is because we do see the 3 spilled cups, right? But those 2 are still standing, so that could just be communicating that, you might have assumed that that's how this person was, that they had other people in the picture, and that they were, you were, in your eyes, you just thought that you were one of many to this person, but that might not have been the case. And, you might actually just reach out to communicate to them and get things back on track. And we do see the name Cupid is on this card as well. So that's the case. Could just be saying that when we have Mars in Gemini, which is going to be pretty early on in March and pretty much through around halfway through April, that could be when you might actually communicate to this person. And the future energy on their side, we have the 6 of Wands. So this is Leo energy here. It usually represents an energy of victory. So looks like, yeah, whatever this is, it could have just been a misunderstanding between the two of you in the past, and now it looks like you guys might actually get things back on track in the future. All right. And the bottom of the deck on your side, we have the 8 of Cups. And usually the 8 of Cups represents walking away and going for something more fulfilling, so I definitely see that as energy you guys might have been in the past, given what we spoke about there. And also this represents the first 10 degrees of Pisces, so at the time I'm recording this, we're actually in those degrees of Pisces, so could just be saying that that was when you actually decided to walk away. And but what always stands out to me with the artwork in this deck in particular is the 7 cups are by themselves, and then that 1 cup is totally separate from them. So that makes me think of the 7 of cups energy, which usually represents confusion, not necessarily seeing something clearly. And then the 1 cup by itself makes me think of the Ace of Cups, which is like that ability for a fresh start. So this could be saying that for some of you, especially if you resonated with what I said about the 5 of Cups there, you might have that realization that, maybe you thought it was one way, but it wasn't, and that could have been due to the retrograde, that you might not have been seeing the situation clearly, and you might actually decide to come back because of that. All right, and the bottom of the deck on their side, we have the King of Swords. So this is Aquarius energy here. And for some of you, this could point to the energy that we were talking about. For one, the Mercury retrograde, but obviously there's all other kinds of things that have been going on in Aquarius too. So it could just be pointing to a timeline in that regard as well. But if not, could just be saying that, you might find this person to be a bit detached. So that's another way you could see this playing out too. And they might just be waiting for you to come to them now if there was some kind of a split in the past. All right, so next we'll move on to the Oracle cards. First we'll see if we get anything from the Aqua Moonlight deck here. And I did pre-shuffle this deck, but what we're going to be looking for is jumpers. So first I'll be looking for unspoken messages from you to them, and then from them to you. And if I shuffle for a while without anything coming up, I'll just move on to the next deck. But sometimes we get additional messages here, so we'll see if we get anything. Almost had one there. Oh, got one, but it fell. So before I pick that one up, we'll see if we get any from them to you now. All right, nothing yet, but I'll give it a few more shuffles. Oh, got one there too, and that one also fell. So let me get those cards and we'll see what they say. All right, so on your side, we have battle. It says, I've tried my best to move on, but I can't seem to let you go. So interesting there. I could see that potentially for those of you who are, like I said, it definitely looks like in the past you might have rejected them. A few different reasons why that could have been the case. And then that could be why we see that Five of Cups energy, right, with the disappointment around actually breaking the connection off and then the desire to come back. So that actually does make sense there. And all right, well, whatever. Let's see what we got on their side. Okay, we have nervous. There we go. It says, you make me lose my cool and I just don't know how to act in your presence. So, yeah, so I mean, this really could have just been an innocent misunderstanding for the most part. Because this makes me think of that Nine of Swords energy that I was talking about, where this is someone who might have a lot of anxiety with that black cat. Like I said, they might think that they just have bad luck in general when it comes to romantic situations. So that could be why they're in that hermit energy right now, too, assuming the worst, right? So could have just been one of those things where it could have been just a classic retrograde misunderstanding where they might have said something to you, might have come across the wrong way, and then that could have caused a split. But hopefully that resonates with you. All right, last we will pull a card from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck here. And same situation, I pre-shuffled this one as well, but I'm just looking for one card here for general advice to wrap up with. All right, let me just put the deck down and we'll pull a card. So give me a few seconds to tune in and we'll grab one. Okay, we'll go here. All right, we have Y. There's the artwork and the number is 31. Okay, it says motives, driving intention, the power of knowing the why. The Oracle's message. There is great power in understanding your motives right now. The Oracle asks you to be very clear about why you're asking this question, looking for this answer, behaving in this way, and most important, making this choice. Knowing your why is the key to fulfillment. When you are clear about it, your intention will then be a magnet for miracles. Motives define the nature of your experience. When you think about something, feel it, and then act on it. This invisible why is the life force energy within the seed, which brings it to life and holds the potential for growth. So, an interesting message there. I could see that for some of you applying to the past, where, like I said, you might have actually split from this person, or for some of you with the future position where you have that Five of Cups, where it looks like you're reevaluating the decision to have broken the connection apart and then wanting to reach back out to the person. So hopefully that resonated. The relationship message says we don't always know why we engage in our relationships in the way we do, mostly because our feelings aren't always logical. Now is the time to recognize whether you are being triggered by someone else or if your behavior is motivated by unresolved issues in the past. When you ask yourself, why am I feeling like this, and why did I say that, and spend some time in introspection, the answers may be surprising. Listen to the messages from your intuition, from the knowing deep within you. What does it tell you about yourself and others? In the end, life is all about being loved. Miracles and a deep understanding of your needs and how to get them met are the buried treasure of the why. Uncover them by posing the most powerful question you can ask yourself and your partner today. Why? So another interesting message there. And I will say that for some of you, you might actually gain some insight around the situation with that Virgo full moon, because it's going to be in your ninth house, of course, and then also it's going to be making a supportive aspect with Uranus in your fifth house of romance and creativity. So that could give you some insights into the situation there. But hopefully that resonated with you guys. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.